name is Angela Harris, and today I'm going to be talking with you about student collaboration in and out of your classrooms, how technology can be used to teach this skill, and some of the benefits and some of the concerns for both teachers and parents. Why is student collaboration important? The ability to collaborate with others has become one of the most sought after skills in both education and the workplace. A survey by the Association of American Colleges and Universities found that more than 80% of mid-size or larger employers look for collaboration skills in new hires, but fewer than 40% of them considered new graduates prepared to work in teams. Can technology help create a collaborative classroom? Absolutely, it can in numerous ways. So on this slide here, I'm going to share with you some different types of technology that can be used to assist your students in learning the skill of collaboration, but I'm only going to take the time to talk about a few of them. WebEx, WebEx Teams, Fakebook, Quizzes, SurveyMonkey, Today's Meet, Recap, KidsBlog, Padlet. They're all things that most of us have used in our classrooms or have heard of other teachers using in their classrooms. My personal favorites are at the top of the list, being WebEx and WebEx Teams. I will talk about that a little bit more in the next slide, but those are items that I use in my classroom every single day. Fakebook is one that we've used in our social studies classes to help students with collaboration, and we've used all of these, but Quizzes is one that I use for a collaborative effort to bring some fun into the classroom. You can put kids in groups and have them working together to solve problems in any area that you may be teaching, and it just tends to be a little bit more fun maybe than some of the others, but I would encourage anybody to take a look at any of those. I personally love WebEx. I cannot say enough about what it's done for me and my classroom and my students, and it's really changed the way that my students are learning, and for me that's so exciting. WebEx has two components. It has WebEx, which is more like FaceTime, if you will, and then there's the WebEx Teams, which is the collaborative piece, which I use both of them at all times in my classroom, but they do different things for me, so I'll talk a little bit about what that looks like. So as far as WebEx as a whole entire platform goes, it allows students to learn at their own pace and extend learning across everything really, but to scarce resources, bringing global perspectives into the classroom. And that's talking more about like virtual field trips. So, you know, if you're in, let's say, a Title I school that maybe doesn't have the means to go on a field trip to meet with, let's say, an architect at the end of your geometry unit, you can instead have a virtual field trip and have an architect speak with your class or share what they're doing in their business with your class. So your students will get exposure to other experiences that they might not get in their classrooms without the use of this technology. You can also wirelessly present. You can use a whiteboard, video conference, and share content. Cisco WebEx board has everything you need for the team collaboration at the touch of a finger, and that I pulled directly from the Cisco site, which the link is right here. So for me, Cisco WebEx is what I used to teach a set of 6 students at a different school. Last year I taught them math. They WebExed into my classroom every day, and they were able to participate in my math class. It was amazing because they were getting the learning virtually, but when we're thinking more about collaboration, you think a little bit more about WebEx Teams. Can you collaborate in WebEx? Absolutely. You can talk to each other. You can have conversations just like you would in person, but I think the real gem is the WebEx Teams, which is it is a platform where it's a lot like instant messaging, but what I do with it is I put students in groups, and then I can monitor their chats. So, you know, if they're asking a question or they're brainstorming ideas on how to build something or how to do something, I can monitor the conversation just to make sure they're staying on track and that, you know, no one's getting out of hand or anything like that. But I have the opportunity to teach them how to collaborate. It is important that we take the time to teach students how to collaborate. So this is not a skill that they have. They do not inherently know how to collaborate any more than you or I did when we first started collaborating. So the benefits to consider while teaching this skill, because I think that we have to remember that this is a skill that we're going to teach no differently than we would teach math or science or social studies or ELA. We have to teach the skills. So to do that, within the confines of WebEx. This is obviously just one example. Any of those that were listed on that previous slide you could use as well. But students can work together synchronously or asynchronously. Students can work together in or out of the classroom. Students can work on projects or participate in activities even if they're not feeling well enough to go to school. And what I mean by that is I have had students that were able to WebEx into my classroom and be part of the class, ask questions, participate, but they just didn't turn their video feed on, and because maybe they were still on an antibiotic that hadn't had the 24 hours before they come back to school or whatever. They felt well enough to participate, but they couldn't physically come to school. So they were able to still collaborate with me and with their peers and get the information that they needed. They didn't miss any of the content for that day, and that would not have been previously done without this technology. Students also have the chance to process others' ideas and work to create end products that are derived from a deeper learning experience. So when we learn to collaborate with each other, we learn that agreeing is not with everyone all the time is not really challenging our thinking. That to teach a student to collaborate means to help them understand that they can disagree without being argumentative, that they can have conversations in which they start in different viewpoints and they end up in some place that was better than where any of the individual members started. And I think that it's really important to tell them that up front, that this isn't going to just be one person taking over and doing the project, or this isn't going to be one person having all the correct answers. This is about making sure that we are working together and that we build off of each other's ideas and we listen and we learn from one another. So those are all benefits of teaching collaboration through the use of technology. Now, I would be remiss to not say there are concerns to consider while teaching, and I personally have had to be realistic with myself and with parents and with colleagues about things to consider while using tools similar to WebEx. That students can easily get off task, and cyberbullying can be very real, and people can say very, very, very hurtful things, which is why I always insist that I am part of the groups that are created, and they are not allowed to create groups outside of the ones that I have designated for them. Is it possible? Yes, absolutely. It's also possible for them to create a text message to that person also. I can't control them communicating, but I can control what I allow them to do within my classroom. So there's different safeguards in place to help the students understand that if they are creating spaces outside the ones I've created, that I will be notified, and other things like that will happen. So can it happen? Absolutely. Is it something we need to be aware of? 100%. And it's something that we need to have open and honest conversations with our students about, and conversations with parents about, and need to encourage students and parents alike to report any behavior that is hurtful to anyone else. Another concern that I've had is that students may be corresponding at an inappropriate time or inappropriate hours of the day. And what I mean by that is that some people get home from, soccer practice at 10 p.m. and they want to start their homework, and that's not an appropriate time for everyone. So we have put limits in place so that at 9 p.m. you're not supposed to be corresponding, and if you do, it obviously notifies me as well because I'm part of that group, so then I can handle that the next day. But usually I found just setting the expectations and being open and honest about it is helpful. Students may need an opportunity to learn how to use the software. Generally speaking, my younger students have needed a little bit more time. They think it's all fun and games because most of them don't have cell phones at that point, and the ones that do are still struggling with what's appropriate in a classroom versus what's appropriate with their friends, meaning that communication piece. So we have to have that conversation. Something that I just think is developmental and normal, and you just have those open, honest conversations and help guide them just like you would with anything else. Students also need to fully understand what collaboration is. I can't say this enough, but we can use technology to teach them how to collaborate, but at the end of the day, we have to teach them what that looks like, what that sounds like, what the end product of that should be, and that's no different than any other lesson. We need to model that for them, so I frequently open spaces and show them what that would look like. I have conversations with other students so I can show my students what it looks like to collaborate, and you have to keep doing that. That's not a one lesson and you're done. That's something that you're going to have to continue to model, continue to give feedback on, and continue to make it a positive learning experience for all of the students. I firmly believe that technology is something that we as educators and parents are going to have to continue to grow with and continue to learn. So I'm going to leave you with one of my favorite Walt Disney quotes. Around here, however, we don't look backwards for very long. We keep moving forward, opening up new doors and doing new things because we're curious, and curiosity keeps leading us down new paths. I think that that sums up how I feel about technology and about collaboration with our students. We have to keep moving forward. We have to help them move forward, and we can't be afraid of the things that we need to be concerned about. We have to learn from them as we go through them and teach our students that it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to share when things are a little bit uncomfortable. And it's okay to report something that is not okay that's happening using technology. But that doesn't mean that we don't use it anymore. It doesn't mean that we don't teach our students how to collaborate, because we all want them to be productive citizens that go out and find amazing jobs that are very fulfilling for them and for our community. And collaboration is the key to that moving forward. Thanks for listening.